All this really started when I was 12. My mom would make these cinnamon rolls and she would come in the morning and put them on the table once a week and she would say, okay, you guys know you're only allowed to have one. And when she'd leave the kitchen, I'd take one or two extra, put them in my pocket, and I'd run into my bedroom and I'd turn off the light and I'd sit in the corner in the dark and I'd eat them because I was ashamed. And at about the same time I was diagnosed with ADHD and I was put on Ritalin. And you know, it was a doctor prescribing medication, but he wasn't explaining to me that this was about behavior, not who I was as a person. From that point on, I think that when I saw something about myself that others didn't like or that the world didn't seem to agree with, I was going to look for an outside substance to fix it. That's how I thought it worked. You know, in high school, Ritalin became Adderall. I quickly became an addict. I was taking more than I was supposed to, but it worked for me in high school. But in college, I started to need more of the drug. As a sophomore, my drug became more important than anything, and I dropped out of college and became a criminal drug addict. The average prescription for Adderall is about 30 milligrams a day. I was doing 450 milligrams in a 24-hour period. I would do this for 6 days straight. I wouldn't sleep. I had no self-worth, no self-esteem. I was 350 pounds. At this time, Rip Esselstyn created the Total Health Immersion program. My dad came to me and said, Adam, I really want you to do this. And you know, I agreed to go, but I agreed to go because I thought if I said yes, he'd keep giving me money. And I went to the immersion. I went to every single lecture. I listened to everything that was being said. I heard them talk about how if I were to adopt a low-fat, plant-based diet, I could reverse chronic Western disease. I could make myself heart attack proof. I wasn't desperate enough for change, but about a year later, sitting in my apartment, I was living like a hoarder, so I wasn't showering, and I'd see all these rashes all over my body, these bed sores, the stretch marks, the lumps, and I'd look at this body that I didn't even recognize as myself, and I just started punching myself as hard as I could, over and over again, and I'd look at myself in the mirror and I'd say, I hate you. I was 30 years old, and I had a thought in my head that nothing's ever gonna get any better. I attempted suicide. I popped some extra pills. I immediately started to panic, and I tried to stand up, fell face forward into a pile of garbage. I somehow regained consciousness, surrounded by fast food garbage, surrounded by empty pill bottles, dying at the age of 30 from a life of drugs, food, and denial. I picked up the phone, I called my father, and he answered the phone and I just said, Dad, I need help. 2 weeks later, I check into rehab. So I got a call from the doctor about 48 hours into rehab, and he says, you know, we need to have a talk. Please have a seat here. And I said, what's up? And he said, you didn't write in your forms here that you have type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure, and in my arrogance, I said, well, yeah, I don't. And he said, Adam, we are so worried that you're gonna have a heart attack. I went back to the dorm and I called my dad and said, I just found out that I have diabetes and heart disease, and you know, I don't know if I can handle this. I thought all I had to do was get sober. And he said, you learned at the immersion that you can reverse this. It's completely reversible. If there's something about your life that you don't like and you can change it, then you don't have a problem. It helped me realize that if I'm gonna be sober, if I'm going to do this, and I have to get up every single day and be comfortable being uncomfortable. And then I was gonna wake up one day and I was actually gonna look forward to this lifestyle. In 3 months, my blood sugar dropped from over 300 to 70. I went to go see my endocrinologist at month 4, and he does a finger prick, it's 82, and he goes, wow, the medication's working. And I said, you know, I really don't think so. He goes, no, look, you know what? This is good. We're gonna take you down to half your meds. I said, oh, well, I really don't wanna do that. What do you mean you don't wanna do that? You don't wanna take less medication? Oh, no, actually, I haven't been taking it at all for about a month. What? What have you been doing? Well, I adopted a plant-based diet and seems to have reversed my type 2 diabetes. And he said, oh yeah, well, that makes sense. Why not recommend that in the beginning? I walked out feeling something that I hadn't felt in a long time, self-worth. And that self-worth made me feel like I was worth saving. My life lived inside of a hoarder's apartment, surrounded by drugs, surrounded by nobody. My life now is bigger than I could ever have imagined. Dr. Esselstyn says that genetics load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. You can go your whole life never seeing the damage that you're doing, but still doing the damage. And I'm very grateful for the fact my body was willing to show me early on what was going on, because now I have so much of my life left to live happy and healthy.